to the show.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Off Mask Podcast. I know I get a little inconsistent sometimes. I might introduce, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how I feel that day. So, this is one of those days I feel like introducing. Alright, so this episode is kind of a prepper episode for later on. As we're into the fall season, fall's upcoming. But basically, it's spooky movie time. Halloween, scary movies, all that shit. So, we're basically going to kind of cover horror movies for the month of October. Even though this is still September, we're just kind of getting a little primer and let you guys know as it's going to be upcoming. But today, my guest is my lovely wife, Sarah Beth, who's going to be here talking about horror movies with me because that's pretty much all we do. We watch horror movies and comedies. I mean, you know, who's got time for drama and like serious shit? Like I want to laugh and be scared. So figured, who better to have on than my wife? I mean, you know, I have some other guests to come on and talk about specific like franchises like Hellraiser, Halloween, and some of the A24 studio films, but we're just going to talk about scary movies and probably just jump off topic too, because that's what I do. Just kind of a heads up, I've already recorded the Hellraiser episode and we were so off topic, I don't even know that we were actually talking about Hellraiser for more than 20 minutes. So either way, it's you know, it's going to be a fun ride. So Sarah Beth,
yes,
welcome.
Hi. Hey, hello everybody.
Yeah, get up on that microphone because
sorry. Hello everyone.
Like we can't really hear you.
I apologize.
So with horror movies in general, just all of us watching everything that comes our way, what has been your favorite, you know, just through the years?
Franchises. Well, I mean, our definites have been the Paranormal Activity ones. That's something we have revisited many a time. I don't know. I just kind of go along with the ride. I love seeing what's new as far as story-wise and what's scary and laughing at the stuff that other people think is scary.
Yeah, there's that list. I applied for it, the list of the 13 films for $1,300. I'm hoping that my social media base actually gets me makes them say yes, because it asks, you know, can you send us a link to your social media? And it was like I sent them the link to BJJ Wiki where I have a larger following. So I was like, you know, hopefully that convinced them. I was like, hey, maybe we can get this guy. We get some free advertisement out of it, maybe. But yeah, I applied for it, and I bring that up because when I posted this to Facebook, the one thing that I thought was very, very silly, because people don't read and interesting, is that everyone's like, those movies aren't scary at all. I know scarier movies. And it's like, well, the list, if you read, not the list, but if you read before, it's not talk about scary. Like, what's scarier? It's talk about budgets of films.
Oh.
It's talking about, basically they want to try to figure out, based off of the budget of the film, how scary was it? Or, you know,
what was the list? Do you remember any of the
I have the list. We were talking about it.
Because that is kind of interesting.
Night.
They want to see what the correlation is between the two.
Yeah.
If there is one.
Yeah, I guess. The thing is with that, though, too, is that everyone jumped into this whole thing, again, of being super excited about, you know, telling us what they thought was scary. And it was like, well, that's, again, not what the question was. The question was, or it wasn't even a question. It was like, basically, they're like, look, we're trying to see, you know, they're going to strap a heart rate monitor to you and kind of fill you out for that. But they're trying to see, you know, if the movie was a bigger budget, did it have more jump scares, or did it do a better job of getting your heart rate up, or a lower budget? So here's the list. Number 1, we have Saw. I don't know that Saw was really, you know, had a lot of jump, or like it's scary in the sense of like, I mean, that's some shit that could happen in the first one.
Cringeworthy.
Well, no,
It's
not
like, oh
no.
no, it's gonna
Later,
happen.
later on, it got that way. But that first one was scary
The first one
because
was intense.
it was a kidnapping story, and there's two guys trapped in a room, and they're trying to figure out how to get out of that room.
Right, it's understandable because
So,
it's a storyline we've never had before, so you don't know what to expect. But once you expect it, you're like, oh, I know what to get from the others.
well, even the others though, because the second one, which I love, did things a lot different too. Then the third one, which is where is kind of my cutoff for the Saw franchise, also did things a little different as well. But that first one, it had some moments where it's like I don't know if the heart rate monitor will really register for me on that. Now the second film is Amityville Horror. Now when I was talking to Joe and Phil about this, they asked which one. My assumption is it's going to be the most recent one with Ryan Reynolds.
I thought there was one made after that. No?
I
Not
mean,
yet?
they're like little Amityville things,
Like
but
side things. Okay.
but actual Amityville Horror is the original from I think 76 maybe,
Yes, it's in the 70s, definitely.
and then Ryan Reynolds remake in 2005. I assume it's going to be 2005 just because when we're talking about budgets, that's more than likely going to be in the discussion for the more recent stuff. And even with that one, that one, you probably get some reaction
It
out
has
of
some
me.
tense moments, yeah.
The original one, I think, is actually
Oh.
very scary to me.
Yes, it is.
I actually still have a hard time watching it at night by myself. I'm just like, no, I'm not in for this.
Which is saying something for you.
The third one is A Quiet Place. Well, actually, 3 and 4 are both Quiet Place films. So, and for those, you probably get a little bit of a reaction, but it's not from fear. It's from the tense moments
Yeah.
with,
When there's sound.
like with the family, just the stuff that's
Yes.
going on, because that's intense. Where you can't make a sound, you've got to be quiet, and it's got its moments. Both films. Number 5 is Candyman, and this became another debate when we discussed this because we're like, is it the new one that just hit theaters?
Or is it the older ones? Right.
And now when we're talking about budget, again, it's more than likely going to be the newer one. But the original, I'd be in if it were the original one, because that one had some. It got a reaction out of me too.
Oh.
Insidious is number 6.
Okay, that's fair.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
And it did genuinely not scare me, but it
There are some tense
got
moments.
some moments
You're
from
like,
me.
oh, geez, what's going to happen next?
Number 7 was the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
That's another mixed bag because it's really slow the entire movie,
Yes.
and then like probably about the last third or last quarter it picks up because now you're starting to feel that confusion and that fear of everyone, like they're lost. They don't know how to they don't know how to fucking get home, so they're confused. So, but whatever. Number 8 is Sinister,
Okay.
which I like Sinister a lot. And there's been some polls done where, they had like a list of the scariest movies, and Sinister was at the top of all those lists. And I was like,
Really?
I mean, everyone's different though,
No,
but
it's true. I mean, it's an interesting concept, but for me, it wasn't scary. It was just more shocking as to what was, going to happen.
yeah, I don't know.
I did not find it scary at all.
It had some moments, but it wasn't something I felt like I couldn't sleep that night.
Well, honest truth, you and I are those types of people, though. We can watch a horror movie and go straight to sleep or fall asleep during it. We don't necessarily find them scary, but they do have intensities to them.
Yeah.
I don't find horror movies don't bother me later on, like at all.
So number 9 was Get Out.
That,
Now, it's in the horror category, and I get it, but I don't find if the heart rate monitor's on, I don't know that you're getting a reaction out of me. You're gonna get comedic reactions. I'm like, hey son, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? You going out in the woods to hang out with this white family? What are you doing?
I found
Plus
Us
chills.
more intense than Get Out.
Yes. Yeah.
That was way more intense.
Yeah. That.
That should be flipped onto the list.
But it's not.
I understand that it's not.
Number 10 is The Purge. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know if there's any reaction out of me watching The Purge. I enjoyed it.
don't find it a horror thing. It just triggers the fight or flight response.
Yeah.
Like you go into like, oh, what would I do?
Number 11 is the 2018 Halloween. That has some good moments.
Yeah.
But Halloween holds a special place in my heart, for fear.
As we know.
And even when they did the Rob Zombie remake in 2007, they were showing the original to a lot of people. And people were basically saying, they're like, oh, this isn't scary. Is this supposed to be scary? And it's like, it's a different time. Because, when I go back and watch the old horror movies now, no, they're not scary. But I can understand why they were scary at the time.
Of course.
Like 13 Ghosts, House on Haunted Hill, the originals.
Right.
I understand why they're scary. But now they're silly. They're silly enough where I would show my daughter those movies. And she'd just be like, oh, okay, that's silly. Paranormal Activity was number 12.
Just one?
Correct. So, these are movies that you got to sit down and watch.
Right.
So they're not going to have you watch the franchise. So that falls into that Blair Witch category, where the movie is kind of slow.
Right.
It picks up a lot sooner than the Blair Witch did, but it's still kind of slow. Now, if you said Paranormal Activity 2 or 3 or 5,
yeah,
those movies were kind of, they got to work pretty quick.
Yes.
But I think you would get a reaction out of me at some points once you start getting to the end. And then number 13 is Annabelle. And I'm like, look, out of that series of films, you picked Annabelle and not The Conjuring?
Yeah.
Or the one where the lady eats the babies?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I agree. Annabelle was, nah.
Now, and I told Phil, and Joe was like, yeah, just watch 2 and 3. Don't watch the first one. Or really, you could watch 2, then the first one, and then 3. Got some Star Wars action there where you got to watch them out of order.
Yeah.
Because number 1 didn't really add up to me, but then you watch number 2 and it's like, okay, that makes number 1 more bearable.
Right.
And then number 3 I thoroughly enjoyed. But that's the list of those films that they would pay you $1,300 to watch. It's basically $1,000 a film.
Well, basically. And are they looking for people who've never really watched them before, or people who actually genuinely enjoy
It sounds like
movies?
they want people who watch horror movies.
So they want to see if someone who long-term watches stuff is still getting a thrill out of things?
Possibly. I don't know.
There's
I didn't
too
read the
many
article.
things to put within variables. I
don't read articles.
But you know what? If they want to pay you to watch the movies, have at it.
Yeah, give me $1,300 to watch a movie. I got action figures to buy, so please. I've been holding off on figures because it's like, do I need to buy it? Not really. But if I got $1,300, it's just like, here, watch some movies. I was like, oh, you know what I really need now? I really need this blue Iron Man. I didn't need him before, but I got spare money. I need him now.
Exactly.
So, but you said for you, Paranormal Activity is a franchise that, because that's what we watch.
Franchise-wise, yeah, that's a definite one. If there's more singular ones, that's different.
What's just a single horror film
Singular
that
horror
you...
movies that I love, definitely I love my Trick or Treat movie. That's like one of my favorite little campy
You
things
just call
to
it
watch.
Trick or Treat.
I like Trick or Treat. And then I also really still get intense with 13 Ghosts, as we know. So
I think I recently put that on Movies Anywhere for the digital download. It still holds up.
yes, it does.
It's still a really good movie. I enjoy it. The special effects were really good.
For the times, especially.
I think that was one of the first DVDs I owned too.
It definitely was one of the early ones.
Because
Yes.
it was at our first apartment.
Yes.
Our first apartment by ourselves. Because I remember all the special features.
Yeah.
And actually, I was telling Marilyn Phil about that. Next time, I don't know when I'm going to see him next. Just he's out in Frederick now. But next time I see him, I'm going to. I had to take him the disc because all this. He likes a lot of special features and stuff. The story to the Black Zodiac is always so cool, and when you see the breakdown of all the
characters and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'll need to make a note to do that. But anything else that you dig?
No, I mean I pretty much generally watch anything, but like offhand, if that's something we're gonna watch, that tends to be kind of it. I tend to roll with you anyway. I'm easygoing.
I mean, I'll watch any horror movie
At
for
least
the
once.
for the most part. Yeah, at least once I'll give it a
Except
shot.
for Silent Hill.
I'll revisit that now because it's like now I care more. But Hellraiser, I've tried. I've tried so many times.
I just didn't get into it.
They're doing a reboot apparently.
I mean, I'll watch it, but
so I'm gonna wait for the reboot. Next year it may come out. So I'm gonna wait for the reboot and try to start from there. Joe was saying number 4 is a good one to go with because it gives you kind of the history of everything.
okay.
So maybe I'll jump into that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna try to be fair because Joe has actually been asking me to watch Hellraiser for like the last 2 years when we were doing our like little podcasts here and there. So I'll
Guess we'll have to make an effort.
I'll try. I mean, we tried to watch the first one,
We did.
and it's
It was
just
years ago, though.
no
It
recently.
was recently?
Like I want to say like last year, or no, well a couple years ago. Because when I was doing the show with Joe and Krista,
Oh.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna be fair to him, and I'm gonna try to sit and watch this. I also tried to watch some anime as well. So, look at me stepping out of my comfort zone. But yeah, that's like the only one that's kind of a struggle for me. And then even like right now, A24, that studio is kind of on thin ice with me because like, look, man, I like Hereditary. I like Midsummer.
Yeah, they're all right.
You know, they weren't like, you know, great films, but they were fun for me. But I also think too, like Saint Maud, they really, really set up Saint Maud, like in the trailers, to be this crazy film, and it got you hyped up for nothing.
What was that one again?
It's not important.
Okay.
It was the girl I guess girl taking care of the lady, like she was like a nurse.
Oh, yes.
It was very slow.
Okay, yeah, it was.
Phil loved it, and you know that's cool. I just couldn't get into that one. And that's the thing. It's like I like everything so far from that studio. It's just that one was like you're not really giving me anything.
I mean, like, people love Hereditary and Midsummer. I'm just like, it's interesting because they're different, but it's not something I'm like, I gotta watch that again.
And I mean, I've watched them a few different times, but you know, it's not like, yeah, I don't need, you know, I don't need to have it on my list every year. Here, come here.
Yeah.
Come say hi.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
No, how are you? How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I know you were itching to come over and say hello, so.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You have to bring it to the microphone like that. You can say hi. Right there.
Yep. And I don't know if Mama can hear me, and
I can hear you.
Mommy can hear you, baby.
Oh, and I can't hear you, but I need the microphones.
No,
You can't hear me talk?
I can still hear you talk, but I just want a microphone.
You want headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have Spider-Man headphones.
But they're just for the iPad and
No, they're
Blue.
not. They're for your ears.
I know.
They could get plugged in.
Sure, I'll bring them up.
So it's a family day.
It's Sunday. It's our one day where we actually have some time to each other with our crazy schedules.
It's family day recording podcast style. So, that's so don't mind any of the noises in the background. You might even hear cartoons on. So what I'm saying is, Apple, don't fucking block us, please, because I think the bulk of the listeners listen through Apple stuff, whatever it is. I don't know, iTunes, Apple Podcasts. I don't fucking care. But yeah, those A24 movies, they're interesting. I get where they're going with it. You know, there's an artistic feel to it and kind of a slow burn. But sometimes it's okay just to, I don't know, just put us in the fucking movie and let's go. Like let's get some action right out the gate. Like 13 Ghosts, that
Start from
entrance.
jump. Wonderful.
Oh, cool. So she found her headphones. You'll have to go over there, baby, because the connector's over there. Yeah, I
Just
mean,
talk
yeah,
together.
be careful because there's stuff above your head too. So if you knock down my Wolverines, you got to go to bed.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
What am I saying?
Thanks.
Okay. Can you repeat after me? 1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
red,
red,
orange,
orange,
yellow,
yellow,
green.
green.
That was all. Okay. You can hear.
You can hear just fine.
All right. Thank you. All right. Back to the show. But yeah, however it goes, those films, they're fun, they're fine, but I don't need them every year. You know, I can watch them every once in a while. Like, oh, this was fun. I like it. Now move on with my life. Otherwise, poo. What's a horror movie that we've sat through and watched that you just absolutely cannot stand?
That I can't stand?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say can't stand, but it's like you just weren't crazy about it. It's like, I'll be all right if I never ever see this film again.
The two we just mentioned, I'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Silent Hill movies, just didn't get them. I mean, they were fine, but I wasn't like super into them.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, because you fell asleep through them twice. And then, I don't know, like I'm not super into like some of the older fashion movies, but that's okay. Like we said, the Hellraiser. Like Freddy Krueger's fine. It's interesting enough. Chucky movies, they're okay in like a campy way. But I just kind of watch stuff just to watch it.
Okay, well.
I mean, what about for you that you like know that you definitely never want to watch again?
Well, obviously Saint Maud would be one. The other one would be Malignant.
Malignant. Oh, is that the one we just watched?
Yes.
Oh, why did I write the... Okay, sorry. Yeah, that was absolutely terrible.
And the goofy thing is, you know, all the critics are saying all these wonderful things about it. I mean,
I don't get it.
Everyone sees things differently. I get it. But I just...
It was very...
It started off in the right direction. It felt good. It felt like it was going to be really good. And then the third act where all the critics are like, yes, that's the best part. It's like, no, actually, that's the worst part.
So that was terrible.
I mean, but I'll be fine never watching that movie again, too.
Oh, The Ring. I was just not...
I love The Ring, so...
I know you love it.
There's that.
Especially when the horse falls off the ferry.
Yep.
But...
Best part of the movie.
I mean, I don't mind watching it. It's like I said, interesting concept. You know.
So, but if you don't mind watching it, then that doesn't fall into the category of you being fine without ever seeing it again.
Okay, I would be fine if I never saw it again. I really would.
But you don't mind watching it, so that it doesn't.
With you, it makes you happy.
No,
so.
It doesn't make me happy.
No. Oh.
It's I actually haven't watched The Ring.
It's been a long time.
I haven't watched The Ring in a extremely long time. I want to say somewhere probably close to like eight years.
Well, at least with me, you definitely haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it. You know, it's just because it's like I don't care. There's nothing to it. I know they did like Rings, which was kind of a I guess if you want to say number 3. The concept of that was interesting. It was fun. Because it was more like modern, and instead of a VHS that you're passing around, it's digital, and you can get a group of people to watch it all online at one time, and now they're all screwed.
What was that one that we saw where people were on like that group chat, like a Zoom, and all the stuff started happening? That was really neat. I
can't remember the name. The name is a very, very simple name too. It was on Shudder. It's a Shudder exclusive.
Yeah, Shudder's got some pretty good stuff, especially.
I can't remember the name of that movie, but I enjoyed that because it was only 80 minutes long.
Yeah, it was very short. You're like, oh, I can just nip at this, especially when we also like the 2-minute or like the little 2-sentence stories.
And what I liked about that is whoever put it together very, very quickly because this. So for those of you who may not be aware of this, we had a shutdown
last year
due to COVID. It was a big deal. You may have heard of it. But like that movie was playing off of COVID, and this was at the very beginning of like the COVID shutdown.
I mean, they must have put it together in a week or two and popped it out.
Because it came out, I want to say it came out in June, and we went into lockdown probably March? Like late March maybe. So and they were kind of playing off of this because they're all doing a get together in social distancing. So everybody's using their laptops.
Their Zoom call, and what was it, doing a seance or something like that?
Yeah, some goofy shit.
They were doing a seance, which went haywire real quick.
It was really. I want to go back and watch that. It was fun. I'd watch it tonight, but there's too much shit going on. and by the time everyone's gone, it's fucking be like 1 o'clock. This shit is dumb. I need to get my schedule and shit together better. I don't think any of those words make any sense in that sentence.
That's okay.
Fuck them. But yeah, Malignant, not okay. And, again, there tons of people who seemingly enjoyed that movie.
It was so bad I wrote it down wrong on the whiteboard. That's how much I cared about it.
I'm never gonna forget that movie. I'll never forgive that bitch for that shit. So there's that. And with the Friday the 13th franchise, how you really only watch those really with me?
Just a few. Yeah.
You know how many there are?
No. I mean, was it the Jason movies?
Yeah.
I know I've seen number 10 where he goes to space. I've seen, 1, 2, and 3 probably with you?
Yeah, I've watched 1 through 4 multiple times.
I mean, but other than that, no.
And honestly, 1 through 4 are the only ones that really matter. Because when you take the meat of the movie, number 4 kind of ends it. Jason is killed. He's defeated. They come back with number 5, and it's someone impersonating. The number 6, they revive Jason in some very goofy and campy way. Number 7, he's fighting a girl who has psychokinesis, not telekinesis.
Okay.
Number 8, they go to Manhattan somehow.
Manhattan. Nice.
Number 9, Jason goes to hell. And that's where you get introduced to the concept of Freddy versus Jason, because at the very end...
Did we watch that forever ago?
I'm certain we did, because I've watched all of those films a billion times. And then, you get your Freddy versus Jason. Then after that, you get Jason X, which at first I didn't realize that was a Friday the 13th movie. And then once I figured out, oh shit, X10. Okay, this is silly. And then your reboot, which was tragically bad. So, and then I was going to say, they haven't rebooted. Yeah, they did. Never mind. For, Nightmare on Elm Street, they did.
They did.
I'm actually going to go back and try to watch that, because there's a little bit more to that story than they gave you with the original. So I'll check it out soon. October's upon us. And I've been watching just a bunch of other scary movies just for the hell of it, including Paranormal Activity. What about the Insidious franchise?
I like it. The last one got kind of hokey at some spots, but it was interesting how they tried to tie the story together from the beginning to the last one.
I'm gonna be honest. The only thing I remember from the fourth one is the twist.
The twist.
I don't want to say it because I've talked to people who haven't seen it yet, and if they listen,
it's been plenty of time.
No,
it's been a few years.
Yeah, but it's that because it's so good that people need to see that. And it's I don't want to say it because, all right, I'm going to pause it. And, I'll be back in a second. All right, and we're back. So, I enjoyed that. I don't remember much to the movie, though.
There was, one part that was a little hokey, but it's okay. It's fine. But all the other ones, I feel like they hold up and they're good. I enjoy them.
Number 3... I don't feel like was any sort of necessary.
Wait, which one was number 3?
I don't know. But I'm pretty sure we could do without it.
Is that the one where the guy that couldn't breathe was haunting the... Oh, yeah, we could have done without that one. That one was not necessary. I don't feel like that one's really part of the franchise, except for, the old lady shows up at one point.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, so Insidious was supposed to only be one movie.
It was, but it just blew up so well that people were like, we want more.
Yeah, and that's what's frustrating is that...
Parts of 2 were a little they felt
2
like they were
is
pushing
fine.
it.
They could have kept... 2 was fine to keep, but it just gets silly. Why? So, my daughter's here. She's mean mugging us because she wants to take over the microphone. Yeah, she wants the microphone. And it's beat it.
Are we feeling bitter?
Yeah, because I don't have a microphone.
There's a microphone.
Enjoy.
So, yeah. It's like when you give your little brother or sister the remote control to play video games and it's not plugged in. So.
She's figured that out, though.
Oh. Guess she's smarter than my little brother. Yes, you are.
Yep, toys.
Yep. Totally.
Everyone else.
Oh, that's not very nice.
Hmm.
Just a joke.
It's just a joke.
Yeah, be proud of yourself though. So yeah, you keep that energy, girl.
I'm the best.
Yes, you are. You are the best. But yeah, I always just felt like with that episode or that chapter of the Insidious franchise, it's like, was it needed? I mean, number 2 was fine.
No, number 2 was fine.
I don't think it was needed. I like things that end where it leaves you.
It's fine to leave it as it is.
Well, because I mean, like with Sopranos, the way that it ended, and they never ever went back and said, okay, you know what, let's do a continuation. I mean, we're getting the movie, the prequel movie.
Well, that's a prequel, so that's fine.
But that's not. They're not doing anything where they're saying, oh well, you know what, that reaction was so strong, we got to do more now. Like, no, just leave it alone.
Yep.
And David Chase already accidentally said in an interview recently that he died.
Well, you kind of had the idea.
So I mean, if people wasn't able to interpret that. I mean, based off of things in the earlier season or earlier parts of that season, where he's talking about, he's talking to Bobby Bacala, and he's like, well, yeah, I think when you die, it just goes black.
And that's how they end it.
Yeah. So, I think that was kind of a clear cut message there. But David Chase did say, as he was talking to someone in an interview, he goes, we always kind of felt like with the death scene, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. And then the guy goes, you realize what you just said. So, sometimes it's okay to leave things on a cliffhanger. You don't always have to explain things. Just like I'd say, to Sophie, you don't have to explain yourself. Like people need to stop. Like leave some make people think. Make people want more. You don't have to always give people like, oh, Insidious, it ended so great. Yeah, it was a great ending. We could have left it there. Like I felt like The Quiet Place, or I'm sorry, A Quiet Place.
You could have left it the way it was. We got the idea of where the movie movies could go, and I felt like the second one didn't do enough, and it left it in a place where, are you going to do a third one? I
feel like I always wonder, like, people lacking imagination now, where they can't. It's like, okay, that was so good. Well, maybe it's laziness and lack of imagination, because it's like, just sit there and think about it. Or like even with comic book movies where people are like, I want some more of that. It's like, okay, well, hey, if you go down to Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland, you can buy those books and read continuations of these stories. They got
pictures and everything.
And people don't want to do that shit because people are lazy and kind of dumb. A lot of them. I'm included in that.
Oh.
So it's okay though. Yeah. Anyhow, but yeah, that's how I feel about those parts of the franchises and just everything as you move forward with movies. It's like not everything needs explanation, not everything needs a sequel, but greed also.
Well, exactly. Just like the other day where we binged on those like 2-sentence or short stories that were like 8 minutes, 11 minutes long or whatever.
Yeah, they weren't if even that.
Yeah, some were really, really short, and it was really great because you got a full story in a way. Very few actually had where you're like, oh, I really want more to that story. Others were just like, oh, no, that was good.
Yeah, there were a few that I was like, I'd be interested in that world. Then there was some that I was just like, I'm all right without. Like, I don't even know why we did this. So, actually, I want to go back and like kind of make a note of the ones I really enjoyed and then kind of keep tabs because hopefully someone picks that up. Mm-hmm. Like that movie VHS.
I loved the VHS, especially the first one. The second was good. I think they're doing a third one.
They have several VHS.
Is it 3 or the fourth one? I saw
it
an
might be a
article on it
fourth
recently.
one. There's a bunch of those already out.
Yeah.
Though.
Some of those stories I really enjoy, and others not so much. But
well, like the Succubus one.
That was a really good one.
That turned into a movie, but they made a movie, a full blown movie for that one though.
Did we watch that?
No.
No.
I think it was somewhere, but I don't think we watched it. And then there was another one in that series. It might have been on the second one where the guy got like eye implants.
Oh, yeah.
And he could see ghosts.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that's wild.
Yeah, it was.
You wild as shit, son. So, I don't know. But, sorry, I'm like looking around because I'm really excited. I'm looking at the basement because I'm thinking about the Age of Apocalypse wave that's coming. So it's like, how the fuck am I going to handle that? Like, what do I do?
You'll figure it out like you do with everything else.
Yeah, looks like some characters getting pulled off shelves.
That's all right.
And I'm going to make room for the new characters. And then I got the Apocalypse figure showing up. later this week, maybe.
Probably.
Maybe, I don't know. They never said when it would ship, but it's in stock at BBTS. So
that's the good thing. It was in stock.
Well, yeah. And that's the thing. Like with Maryland Phil, he was saying, like, I'm surprised it didn't sell out. I was like, yeah, Amazon wants you to believe that it did, though, because you go on Amazon, it's not available.
Always shop
You go
around.
to BBTS and it's there for 31. I think on Amazon it started off at 29. So it's been a couple extra bucks plus shipping. Bezos, he cares, so I wouldn't have to pay shipping with that guy.
He doesn't care anymore. He's not part of it.
He cared when he started all of that.
Oh, yeah, in his garage.
Yes.
Yep.
Fuck that guy. So I don't know, but that's my take on everything. My hot take on horror films.
Hot take on horror films. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you consider things like Aliens
Yes.
and Predator horror films?
Mhm.
Really? I don't at all.
So they're horror. Well, the first Alien definitely is a horror film.
I just consider it all sci-fi.
Well, because you're very, very singular-minded.
I am not
There you
very,
go.
very singular-minded. Don't put me in that box.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Alien, the first one at least, definitely is a horror film. I mean, that is fucking terrifying.
Well, of course it's terrifying,
there
but
you go.
sci-fi can be scary. It doesn't
Okay.
have to be all like swords and elves and things. It's
I'm aware.
well, actually it's more fantasy.
I
It's
know
not
what sci-fi is.
But still,
But it still falls into a horror aspect, so that does make it a horror. Same with Predator. Now, as you start to venture into sequels, maybe not so much, but the first Alien definitely, I'm pretty sure it was listed as a horror
it is I'm
originally
pretty sure,
anyway. So, poo to you.
Whatever, man.
Um,
At least you enjoyed it when you finally watched it.
yeah, I liked it. I mean, it holds up.
Yeah,
You know,
it
it's
does.
like I first watched it in 2018 or
No,
2020.
2020. We watched it during the lockdown.
Oh yeah. And I enjoyed it. We watched it on Blu-ray. What's up now? I enjoyed it a whole bunch. It holds up. There are movies that I feel like they date themselves. They age very poorly. And then there are movies that age well. I think Die Hard aged well, discounting like technology that you see in the movie, but the movie itself aged very well.
Yeah, it's fine.
Alien aged very well. Point Break aged well. No, fuck all y'all. That's like one of the greats. That's Patrick Swayze's best movie.
I'm not putting anything
Easily.
down on it. It's a good movie.
Like, the Fast and Furious movies were great when they were Point Break. I mean, it's the same fucking concept. It's just fucking cars instead of surfboards.
How many of those have you actually watched?
The Fast and Furious movies?
Yes.
I watched the first 3 at least.
Did you
Maybe the
really?
first 4.
I have not watched any of them.
I know I watched the first one because I watched it over at Steve's at his old place, at his parents' place when that first came out. I know we watched the second one too. I don't know if I watched it with him, but I know I've seen the second one. I don't think I actually saw Tokyo Drift, and I feel like I saw the fourth one because I did enjoy the franchise. Then after that, it's like, okay, cut the shit. Like, how many of these do we need? Just make a TV show.
Well, it was funny how when we were all together and we were talking about it, they're like, oh yeah, number 10. I'm like, please tell me they didn't go to space like Jason. And then I was told they did.
I mean, it's. I guess I don't know nothing
I
about
think.
that.
I could be wrong.
Well, no, number 10's in the works. They just did number 9 recently. But that's, I think, I don't
Oh, was that
fucking
the
know.
one where everybody's talking about the whole family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck off. Like, I don't know, those movies, it's like Land Before Time. Like, why don't you just make a TV show?
Do we need 24 of them? You might as well just, at this point, just call it a TV show. A mini-series, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, shit is dumb. Like, all that shit is dumb. It's like, oh, let's just keep making movies. But, I mean, people keep going to buy, because people are dumb. You're like, I gotta go see those car movies. Yeah, vroom, vroom.
I never understood the car stuff, but that's okay.
I mean, no, I mean, people like what they like. I mean,
It's true.
people don't understand jiu-jitsu. They're like, oh, jiu-jitsu. People like rolling around on the floor and sweating on each other. It's like, really? That's not what it is. So whatever it may be. But either way, for those that do enjoy the Fast and Furious movies, kudos to you. Maybe one day I can have someone come on here and explain them.
You ran a race? Did you win?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I'm in first place.
You were in first place?
Good job, Goodman.
Not all the time. Sometimes you lose and you get frustrated.
It's okay, though.
Turn that thing off
Okay.
Okay.
and can make it 12.
Sure.
You want to write on that?
Yeah, go ahead, Goon. Yeah, you gotta take the headphones off. You can't walk with the headphones on. You will definitely not do well.
No.
So yeah, basically that franchise, and really, you could say that with horror movies though too. It was like, how many Friday the 13th do you need?
Right.
How many Hellraisers do you need?
How many Halloweens do you need?
Like, yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, yes, this new run of Halloween movies will be a trilogy, and I hate that I know that it's going to be a trilogy, because it's like, so why am I going to see the second one then?
So that you know what happens for the next one.
It's
I don't
dumb.
know.
And honestly, I mean, they'll, in another 10 years, they'll just start up again, because that's what you do. Because you have to, in order to keep the license, you have to make a movie every so many years. So.
Oh, I thought I read something that she said like that was it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
H2O was it too, and so is
True.
Resurrection.
Until somebody goes, "Hey, let's do another one."
I mean, and that's the thing. Everybody's like, "Well, I like to instill my vision on this franchise, and I want to do this." And it's like, okay, you know what you can also do? Eat a bag of dicks.
You made a tree, lovely.
Cool. So, I don't know.
Shudder has definitely been doing a nice job with adding like their own spin on some horror movies. We found some funny ones on there too.
Well, Shudder does a good job with letting young directors and independent, filmmakers, put
Get a
their
shot.
movie somewhere. So I do appreciate that about Shudder. And also they have a lot of classics. A lot,
Yes.
like when I say classics, I'm talking about like old school classics, not like, I think Friday the 13th's on Hulu right now. But when we first got Shudder, they had the entire Friday the 13th series.
Nice.
And I remember sitting there watching through all of them, because that was the first time I watched number 8. Like,
Okay.
paid attention to it. And let me tell you, I could do without. It's a movie that, again, it was during that time period, though, where they're making movies just, at this point, just to make them. And not only that, they're like, let's add elements of comedy on them. I was like, why?
But why?
It doesn't need to have like Friday the 13th 8 had, the silly comedic, and it's not even about doing stuff that's funny or having a funny character. No, they just outright had like comic relief slapstick, and it's like get out of here. Because Friday the 13th did it with 8.
Mm-hmm.
They also did it with I feel like another one as well. No, 8 was definitely the most egregious. Halloween does it with number 5.
Okay.
Child's Play just eventually that's all it becomes. It's like
Yes.
comedy left and right. And it's like, no, this is supposed to be terrifying. Like the first 3 Child's Play films were fun, like really good, and just they still had the elements of fear, because this is a doll that's
Right.
out to do
Kind of like Puppet Masters. That
horrible
is also
things.
scary.
But they at one point started falling
They
to that
started to fall
silly
into that, yes.
area as well. And I think that was just a sign of the times, where they're like, I think it was like 89 through 91 is where they're trying to make horror silly, to the point where I know I gave up on horror. Like I just didn't care. And then Scream came out.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
That was
okay.
big for our time. That was very big.
And I know there are other horror movies in between, but I'm talking about like mainstream, like hit the scene and get everyone's attention with Scream.
Scream, Final Destination.
Well, there's Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes.
Because those were written by the same guy, I think Kevin Williamson, maybe. And Wes Craven directed Scream. And then, we get Final Destination. And even with that could have stopped at 1.
It could have.
It could have even, maybe 2. But 1 definitely could have been the end.
And it would have been fine.
I do like the way that they kind of did a wraparound, like with the most recent one.
Like if you're going to do that, it is best to do the wraparound to see how things are connecting.
Yeah, so that was good. I actually watched that recently too. I still enjoy that one. And then so there's another Paranormal Activity coming.
No.
Yeah.
After the last one? Really?
I just saw an article that was talking about it, and it was kind of like, it's coming out this year.
Okay. Any idea what the premise is, or
I
nothing?
don't remember
Okay.
because they did. I don't think they gave any info about
No?
it. To be honest, they just said it's coming out at the end of October.
Sometimes that's best.
I was like, yeah, like just let me jump in and be excited about it and watch versus give me a trailer
That
and
tells
then
me
another
everything?
trailer and then another trailer and then next thing you know, yes, honey bunny, you made a
Thank you.
surprise for us. Can we
She's
see?
going to make it. She's
Oh,
not
you're going
finished
to?
yet.
Okay.
I just started.
Oh, okay, baby.
Go finish.
Thank you. Thanks. So yeah, so that's coming at the end of the month, and I'm excited for that because again, I love that franchise. Even though the first one, not really that great. Like, it's actually, it's a wonder that I even continue watching any of them because the first one was actually kind of trash. So
Yeah.
the second one though,
Not trash.
yeah, it was trash, baby.
Nope.
The second one was
It was the sister in their
Yes.
family in the home.
Sister and Family in the Home. Yes, that one really caught our attention. And then the third one was the little girls.
Yes.
We really enjoyed that one. The fourth one was a little.
The fourth one I could do without.
Yeah. The only thing that got me was the connect the dots from the gaming
That's
system.
on Hulu. That's on one of the streaming platforms.
It's definitely on a streaming platform. Yeah.
It's on Hulu because I was swiping through the other night. I think I turned it on the other night. As a matter of fact, I did. I turned it on and went to sleep because that's what I do. I turn on horror movies, go to sleep.
But we definitely like the one with the apartment complex.
Yeah, that was number 5, or it was called the marked one, so it didn't have a number attached to it. But it was the 5th one in the series called the marked ones.
The last one kind of lost me at a lot of spots.
Yeah, it started trying to get into this thing of explaining more into the mythology of, or the history of it, and it's like,
But it didn't do
don't.
a good job of it, though.
Yeah, don't do it though. Just bust chills. Like, why are we trying to explain something and making it seem like it's so
Well, it's like you had all
complex?
the things going on throughout the house, and then you had stuff going on with the camera that they found, and it was just a lot of elements thrown in that were not the same as the other ones. So it was just like, okay. I think they were trying to connect everything and make it just kind of finalized, but
Yeah, and then it's like, I get it. I think their whole plan was like, look, let's just be done with this. So that's probably why there's some parts that were good,
yeah, I'm not saying it was all bad. There was just
but it was mostly just kind of like, all right, you guys are just doing this. Like the marked ones, I like every bit of that movie.
because you got more of the depth of, oh, this is bigger than just one small incident, one small part of the family.
Correct. And not only that, it kind of, because I've always said this was horror movies. Most horror movies, haunted houses, any other stuff, it's always a family with the big home. You know, and now you got,
Home Alone.
yes, like
Right.
Home Alone, baby. I
Only
know.
the silly parts.
Only the silly parts, or the whole movie is a silly part.
She means specifically at the end where the guys get hurt.
Maybe I'll watch Home Alone later on today
She keeps begging. I keep telling her no.
because I enjoy it. I think we're getting close enough.
I told her as soon as Halloween was over, she could watch it as much as she wants.
But we could watch it the one time and then wait until after Halloween and watch it every day. Yeah. But with the marked ones, you know, with them being in an apartment complex, that made it more interesting because it's like, it wasn't just like, whenever I watch a horror movie, it's like, oh, these are people with big fancy houses.
Right.
I'm not scared because I don't live in a big fancy house. And you see it happen in an apartment, it's like, oh shit.
Oh, man.
Like, horror movies can happen in an apartment, and I know somebody will probably message me, you know, a list of horror movies that took place in apartments, like Dark Waters with Jennifer Connelly. I don't care.
Well, it also has the same concept of like Drag Me to Hell, where it's like, oh, stuff can happen during the day.
Yeah, that was.
oh.
I always forget about
You're like,
that
oh,
movie,
no.
and that is actually one of my favorites too. Is
It's a bit scary.
It can. Yeah, it's like stuff happens during the day. It's like, oh,
Oh, no.
well, they did that in Paranormal Activity though.
Yes, they did.
Was it the second one where the mom is sitting in the kitchen?
Right.
And I thought it was a safe point of the movie, so I let my guard down, relax. Then when all the drawers opened,
You're like, oh no.
I was shook. And then they also did it in the third one, where the mom comes down to the kitchen. She's in the kitchen, everything's there. Then she turns around and she comes back and everything's gone. And then
Right.
it drops from the ceiling, which is
Oh,
kind of funny because it's like, so if I walked into the kitchen,
And I'd been chopping vegetables.
well, no, that's number 4
That's number 4.
with the
Number
knife.
3.
So number 3 was when the mom.
Oh, yes.
But the thing is, it's not like the ceilings were super high in the kitchen, at least, where if the furniture's gone, that you're not gonna see it up top.
Right.
So.
You have to be careful, I told you. I told you have to be careful. You'll be alright.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah,
But
that
and then number 4, the knife thing. I know what
Yes.
you're talking about. When she's chopping vegetables, she turns
just goes
around.
and grabs another one. Like,
But I think what they're playing off of with that though is to show you just how like disconnected from everything she was.
both the parents.
Yeah. Like if anything is to be taken away from that movie, it is like there's a complete disconnect from everything, and no
The
one.
parents were very self-involved and not really paying attention to their surroundings. And
Bless you.
Thank you.
Another goofy thing to that movie, the 4th one in the franchise, is that when you get, like, it kind of happens early on when they meet Odd Robbie.
it's 100 years old.
When they meet Robbie, and suddenly Robbie's staying over the next day. So yeah, something happened to his mom, and she had to go to the doctor.
Like, yeah, we just met this kid.
Yeah, we
like,
just picking up random kids off the street. Black folk can't do that.
Have you never
So-
seen a horror movie? Like, kids aren't always
Actually,
safe.
black folk ain't gonna do that. It's like, nah, actually, black people
Like, I gotta
we take
feed
in
this
everyone.
thing? Like, mm-mm.
Actually, no, we take in everyone.
Just kidding. I know you
Join
would.
us. Like, I mean, you come to my house at Thanksgiving, you don't even know who's related to who. There's so many different people.
And there's
But-
always good food.
Yeah,
You're right. This is stuck on tight.
but
Oops, grab that.
but either way it goes, that franchise is fun. I'm excited for a next installment to it, and I want to see. I honestly would like for it to be something that's just done, versus something that's going to be like, okay, we can now continue and make more of
I
these.
mean,
It's
we
like-
totally thought it was done after the last one, but
well, and I think it was meant to be done. But anything that makes any money, they're always going to find a way to resurrect it.
thou shalt not kill the cash cow.
Okay. Like everything, greed. We get it. But
Okay, so
sorry,
It's okay, so.
Sophia's making us a surprise, and she's sharing with us.
We're not done.
Okay, then finish, please. Go ahead, finish. All right, thank you, Goonie. But yeah, anyhow, yeah, we're at that point now where it's like, look, they'll make the movie. One of two things will happen: either it'll pick up audiences and they'll make more, or the fans who enjoy it will enjoy it and they can just leave it there. Because Blair Witch, when they made the recent Blair Witch, you thought they were going to do more of that, and I think they just kind of ended on that. I don't think it picked up with the general public like they wanted it to, and that's fine. Because again, not everything needs more, like, continuation. Sometimes you can just end some shit. Like Blair Witch would have been fine ending there. Like, what really happened? I don't know. But let's keep that energy of confusion.
I mean, although we did enjoy watching the second one more than we did the first one, I think, because it wasn't shaky.
Well, that I didn't care about it being shaky, to be honest. I enjoyed the second one because there's like a story, like a
Yes.
written story, and it's like, and they tried to stick to it. People hated it, but I think it's cool. People, it's the cool thing to do is to hate stuff.
I guess.
I just hate stuff because I hate it. I'm not trying to be cool. Well, oh,
You want
okay.
to turn around the surprise?
We'll go
Okay.
turn it around. The surprise is ready, guys. So give us a second. That is actually a very, very lovely picture.
Very good.
Thank you.
Got 3.
You're right. There are 3.
Who's all in that picture?
You, Mama,
Thank you.
me, and you.
Ah, cool.
And why back just moving around?
Because we're recording, baby.
That shows our voices.
What? I can now see my voice.
No, of course you can't.
Yeah, because you're over there talking and we're over here talking.
And only you guys are keep talking.
That's okay. You've talked before on here.
Yeah.
It's
now-
okay, Goon.
Now I'm just going to wipe all this off. With
Okay.
this.
Sophie, have you ever
Okay.
watched a movie that was scary?
I think
What happened in the movie?
People died.
Who?
Every kind of people, and everyone turned into zombies. And now I'm playing zombies.
No, you're not, because you love the What If zombie episode. You watched it 3 times yesterday. Like, you haven't watched too many scary things just yet.
But I like Zombie Town.
What about-
Only best Zombie Town.
What about Nightmare Before Christmas?
Nightmare Before-
It doesn't.
We watched it a little bit the other day.
But I did saw the whole thing.
No, you're right, you
I
did
see
not.
him take away Santa.
That's okay.
It's okay. I don't really care about that movie either. Like, I enjoy it, but I can do without.
Oh, wow.
What? Okay, you like
No,
it.
it's
That's
fine.
cool.
No, it's
Like, I
fine.
mean, we don't have to all like the same
No,
thing.
this is absolutely true.
Sheesh.
It would be boring if everybody liked all the same things.
No, but some people
Okay.
like to think that we should all like the same thing or we should all think one way. It's like, okay.
No.
Okay.
All right. Is
humans.
there like a movie that has like some scary elements to it, but yet is still kind of like a comedy that you enjoy?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of horror movies are that way. Because, I mean, I laugh at some of the things that shouldn't be laughed at, but also there are some movies that just have things like that are kind of built in for humor's sake.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, that hit just right. And it's not overpowering. I mean, even like the 5th Paranormal Activity movie where the one guy is, his best friend is kind of the comic relief to the movie.
Right.
Where, you know, he, like, the main character is leaning in the air and is seemingly held up by the ghost.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
And then the friend goes to do it and falls very hard.
Right.
You know, shit like that. But it fit. You know, that's the thing. You have to, if you're going to have comedy to something, it has to fit. Otherwise, you know, there are a lot of comic book movies that they throw comedy in there, like Justice League, the first Justice League with Joe Sweden. It was not very good, and then they're like trying to like add comedy in horrible places like Batman, you know, getting knocked to the ground and then saying, "Yep, that's definitely gonna bleed." It's like not needed, not necessary at all. So, you know, with horror, I can't think of anything off top, but there are a lot of movies that, yeah, the horror element or the comedy element in the horror film, it has to be done right. Like Halloween 5, when they try to add, like, you know, the comedic relief being the 2 cops.
Yes.
Not necessary, and it's forced. Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan, number 8. That entire movie is just comic relief.
Wow.
Not necessary. Like some Nightmare on Elm Street could get away with it, but at one point later on in the franchise, it becomes a bit much, where we're like, not needed. Just back up.
Right.
So,
What about going back a little bit to like, you know, the whole sci-fi / horror bit? What about Cloverfield? Because I know you really enjoy those movies.
so I didn't really care for the first one. It just, I mean, I didn't hate it.
Right.
I was just like, it's fine. I don't remember the second.
Is the third one where there's the bunker? Or is
So
that the second one?
that's the second one.
Okay.
And then the third one is Cloverfield Paradox, which was one of those movies that it debuted right after the Super Bowl, and it came up on Netflix. And I think this was the first time Netflix had really done something like that. And that's when Netflix was kind of early on in making their own movies now. I like that a lot, and I like the second one a lot. I didn't care for the first one. But I like John Goodman.
Yes.
So you put him in any movie, I'm going to give it a shot. Him in Red State, I need to rewatch that. That's terrifying. Because
I don't think I've watched that.
we watched it a very, very long time ago. We only watched it once.
It must
It's
be
a
why.
Kevin Smith movie.
Huh.
I can't even describe it right now because it's been so long, but I want to watch it. But I know John Goodman stood out because he was fucking scary.
Was he?
He was just scared. He wasn't scary like in the classic horror scary. He was scary
Right.
just in like his beliefs and just how he was like set in his ways, and this is how it's going to be because this is what we believe. You know, that kind of stuff terrifies me because it's like, so you don't see any other way. No, it's my way or the die way. Get it? See what I did there?
Exactly.
See, I'm funny. Yo, I'm so funny. I'm funny as shit. Probably the funniest people y'all know, right? Am I right?
Probably.
So I'm stalling because Sarah was like
No, I was
looking
looking
it
at the
up,
Red State thing.
and there is kind of a rule on this podcast: no phones. But
Oh, I'm sorry.
well, no, it's really for Compton.
Oh.
That's really the rule. So Steve wouldn't be on his phone.
I mean,
all
like,
the
I could
fucking
still
time.
talk to you about it, like, while I'm listening to you describe it, so it's okay.
But you know, however that one goes, you know, the Cloverfield franchise, it's fine. I'll go back one day and rewatch it all, but there's only 3. But I don't really care too much. But I did enjoy the second one with the bunker, and I did enjoy Paradox. With because I think I only watched that once. I watched 10 Cloverfield a few times, but I didn't watch Cloverfield Paradox more than once.
All right.
So
Well then.
yeah. Any more brain busters?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Well, I don't really got much more to offer either. Just conversation. I mean, we can talk about What If briefly, but not really. Because I'd have to go back and rewatch it. So I guess we could kind of really wrap up. Really.
Good if you want.
I'm not going to edit any of this. I'm just let it be what it is.
Typical conversation. This is how it would go with the child interrupting in between.
I'm going to be honest. It's like at this point, it's like, look, man. I'm just lazy. Y'all going to get what y'all going to get. And honestly, this was kind of an impromptu episode. It's just as my scheduling got kind of botched. And it was like last second, I was like, hey, let's like record. Let's go talk about it. Like, she's like, you got any notes? What do you want to talk about? I was like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Like, and which we did. And as you all can hear, like, yeah, there's no preparation here. I never prep for most episodes, so.
It's okay.
So, I'm not a prepper. Like, I just don't want to sound scripted. And I know people like to say, well, that's short-sighted because you're not scripted, you're just prepared. Like the episode that I did this morning, I had the opportunity to see the questions. I would have had the opportunity to see the questions that were going to be asked to me beforehand. I was like, I don't want to know the questions because then I would have time to think about them and obsess.
Right.
And try to give try to think of the right answer.
Right. For me, it would be distracting too. I'd get stuck on one and then forget. No, just.
It's like, just ask me the questions in the moment and you're going to get what you're going to get, which could be a serious answer or it could be, me saying, sounds like somebody needs some dick. That could be a response to something, or sounds like there's a lot of fucking going on there.
Yeah, I mean, we're not those type of people where we need our PR person to go over the questions beforehand. It's fine. Just roll them out.
Yeah, definitely not. Because first off, I don't have a public relations person, number one, and number two, it's like, look, I'm not Wendy Williams, so I'm not gonna ask embarrassing questions or the tough questions. I'm gonna ask questions that I genuinely want to know. It's like, hey, so you're a fighter, like walk me through how that all came about. Oh, I was, getting picked on in school and, I ended up taking Taekwondo and I realized it's trash. So then I went and did like a real martial art, jiu-jitsu, and, well, that's shitty of me to say because judo is like legit and sambo. Like all of it's fine.
It's all
I like
good.
to make jokes, but anytime I make jokes, people get really emotional. Like, and people get so divisive over some dumb shit. Like,
They do.
I wrote something on Instagram one day. It was really kind of a test to see what people would do, just to see, how goofy people can get. And people are just so fucking dumb. It's at a point right now where it's like, I haven't really been paying attention to what I've been posting on Instagram. I've just been finding a meme, just posting it, and see where it goes. And I think most people can kind of see that. It's like, I don't even think he put effort into that. Like, I didn't. Well, because first off, I don't make any memes myself anyway, so there's definitely zero effort. But also, sometimes I'll read it and make sure that it fits. Or, I might look at the day of the week. Oh, Throwback Thursday, perfect. Or, Motivation Monday. Sometimes I'll put a Motivation Monday fucking post out on a Wednesday, and they're like, "Did you even read this?" Nope. Like, bitch, I don't read articles for shit that I post for Nerd Rage. You think I'm gonna read the memes? Like, I did prove that I could read when I did the Hellraiser episode. I was reading the questions from the horror.
You are capable of reading. You just choose not to put forth effort with articles.
Yeah, because I don't care. Like, because they're just gonna put a bunch of words in there that I don't really want to read, like vowels and shit. Oh no, those are letters.
I do dislike it.
Verbs.
Verbs, adjectives. I mean, things.
Nouns, pronouns.
I do dislike it when there's an article and they're like, oh, a list of whatever, and they don't list it. It's just paragraphs. I'm like, I don't want to search through this. I just want my list.
I don't like when I click on an article and it turns out to be a video, actually. That's really annoying.
Ew.
Because I don't want to watch your 3-minute long fucking video of you telling me why I should buy a fucking, blender and then tell me, Easter eggs that you didn't see in Spider-Man's trailer. Like,
I don't care.
I don't care about the Easter eggs.
I would like to be surprised when I actually watch the movie instead of knowing everything.
Like,
fun.
we get trailers for trailers now.
We really do, and it's getting ridiculous.
It was like, they're like, here comes the trailer for the trailer tomorrow. Why don't you just wait to show me the trailer tomorrow instead of giving me a trailer for the trailer?
How about I just watch the movie?
Dumb fucks.
I'm fine without trailers. You can give me a quick premise of the movie and a picture, and I'm like, all right, I'm in or I'm not. Like,
Well, I mean, it's like when we were going back and watching trailers the other night for older movies. They did a good job of just giving, certain movies like Seven, they did a good job at
careful.
showing you what you're going to get, but not revealing, like, anything.
Everything, right.
Because people forget, when you're watching the credits, you see Kevin Spacey's name there, but you don't really connect that Kevin Spacey's in the movie because the movie is so good that you forget. And I think that's actually a mistake that they made, too. By putting Kevin Spacey's name in the credits, in the opening credits. They should have just left his name out. So it makes it that much more fun. Because I know, like, watching The Departed, seeing the trailers for The Departed, I remember seeing this one scene with Mark Wahlberg shooting someone.
Okay.
And I'm waiting the entire movie. And I don't see that scene.
Happen.
Then there's a part that comes up and it's like, oh shit, it's about to happen. And then sure enough did happen because the layout and everything was just the same. And it's like, you don't need to show that. Like Mark was in the movie. You could just show any other shot of him to show like,
any other piece.
And Mark.
And the Monkey Bunch.
Did they call him? No, they call him Mark Wahlberg, right?
Mark Wahlberg. That's what he goes by. He doesn't go by Marky Mark.
Go by Marky Mark. Dude, if my name was Mark, I'd go by Marky Mark. That's just... I wish his last name was Funk. I think that would just be splendid. But... yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Can you kick her chair? Not kick her chair, but, the legs out. It's a reclining chair, and she wants the legs up. So, I'm asking Sarah to go do that because number one, I'm lazy, and number two, she's closer. So, because that's how I determine everything is by who's closest.
Exactly.
But yeah, Marky Mark should go by that. He should just go. He should have named his restaurant that.
The Funky Bunch?
Oh, no. He should have just named it Marky Marks.
He could have, but he didn't.
Skid Marks.
Oh, no.
Dude, I'm so immature. All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap up on my immaturity. Do you have any shout-outs?
Shout-outs?
Yeah, any mentions? I didn't think so.
No.
That was rhetorical.
Wow. That's just rude.
Well, because I knew you didn't have any. I was just being polite.
I'm not used to doing the shows with you, so you've never asked me.
You've done 4 shows with me.
You've never asked me for a shout-out before.
Well, because maybe I didn't care.
Care
more.
Care more.
But I'll do some shout-outs here. Big shout-out to Zach over at Student BJJ. He's a great guy. Has a great site. Has a great Instagram. He's got a great app upcoming. So, make sure you check him out. Show him some love. Also, shout out to Eric and Allie over there at Armbar Attic. I got some merchandise from them. Got a couple shirts. I'm actually going to there's some pictures of my daughter and I up in our matching Armbar Addict shirt. So thank you, Eric and Allie, for that. I really, really do appreciate it. You guys are great. Your rash guard actually fits pretty nicely too. I love it. So thank you so much. Also, big shout out to BJJ Mama. And if you go over to flexpromills.com and use the offer code BJJMama20, you save yourself some money. So go do that. Show some support. But otherwise, thanks everyone for listening. You know where to find me. Instagram at bjj.wiki and Off the Mats Podcast on Instagram as well. And really, that's it. Facebook, email, things like that. I put all this stuff in the notes, so you guys know. Otherwise, if you got any questions, concerns, go ahead, reach out to me. I'm a nice guy. I don't bite. And if you want to be a guest, let me know. You can get on. I welcome everybody. I think everyone's fascinating and interesting, so I'm always happy to have people on and chit-chat and talk. I may not be the best interviewer, but we'll definitely have a good time talking about nonsense, and most of it will get edited out because we'll probably say some things that we probably shouldn't say, and then we're like, oh well, try again. But otherwise, thanks all. Y'all keep listening, and I'll go ahead and keep making the shows. Bye.
They were it. Now let me sing a song.